The headline says, Prime Minister tables job description for MPs and ministers. Let me tell you something, Well, from day one, I don't believe in a job description as such, but there should be a document outlining the responsibilities of ministers and members of parliament, everybody, including the whole of the public sector. And not only should you have a sort of outline of your responsibilities, because at that level, I prefer to use the word your responsibilities. What are your responsibilities and your obligation? And tied to that, you must also have what is called, I think they call a code of ethics that you ought to have. That little friendly one that Mr. Greg Christie making up noise about people must sign. And he need to behave himself, Mr. Greg Christie, you probably need to take a walk, You probably need to take a walk. Because sometimes you get so consumed in a position that rather than pushing the nation's agenda, it could come across as if you're pushing your own personal agenda. And you're not a crusader for the whole of us. If the people love the corruption, we are going to do it. It's a serious thing. And sometimes I do believe they love it. Not the same as support it, but you have to be careful. You put yourself as a crusader up front. You have to be very careful. So, the code of ethics, the difference between me and Mr. Christie and other persons who must have it, they look at things in a very academic way, in a very intellectual way. And I'm a practical person. So, I believe that ministers, member of parliament, they should have their responsibilities laid out. For example, if you miss certain committees or meeting of parliament, if you miss a certain amount for the year, well, for one, I don't think you should get pay for those meetings that you missed. There should be deduction from your salary, unless you're ill or something like that. And if you're ill, you better blink and carry doctor's certificate too. That's one time I don't treat our leaders differently. There are certain things that you must treat them, say, when it comes to corruption and so on, you put them even at a higher level. So that's where I see the accountability coming from. You don't attend parliament, therefore you don't get paid. But the accountability, it is the people. So if the people have a clown as an MP and stone make the MP now do not go to parliament and all they can do is not the desk every minute, so they talking, just not the desk. Well, he's representing that constituency, not you and I. So you and I have no right to be telling the people of Northern Trelawney, Southern Trelawney, or Manchester, what they call it, East or so, as to who they should elect or whether their member of parliament is performing or not. Or to get any group to assess them. No. If the people just want a handsome brother or a beautiful lady to go into parliament and so on, that's their business. So that is one thing we have to be careful of. While we can lobby, yes, but I am one who believes that the pressure now should be put on the people. Educate them, uplift them so that they will demand more from their MPs. What some of us are doing, we are targeting the politicians, targeting the member of parliament, and we don't understand that this is a democratic society. Therefore, if you have a loudmouth, big-mouth MP, and the constituents love him, there's nothing you can do about it. And then some of you talk about, say, the Prime Minister must haul them up. The Prime Minister has no such right. I saw in the papers to tell what the Prime Minister should do or not do. The Prime Minister has absolutely no right. He can try to persuade persons to tell parliamentarians what to say in parliament and what that. I know the party will control people. But guess what? Your job is to go to parliament and represent your constituents. So this whole idea talking about, I hear them talk about the Prime Minister was reigning so and so. You think the Prime Minister is a principal? Eh? What you must do is deal with the people, because if the people want a vote in parliament and a loudmouth, that's who they want. Who are you to tell the people who they should elect? So, Mark Perrin, let tell you mean well, but you don't understand the politics. You definitely don't. And politics anywhere is politics everywhere. And if you don't understand it, the change that you want, you cannot initiate that change. You have no legitimacy. Because many of us are trying to direct people and direct the politicians. I would never ever join or go to a meeting and so they function. You never. You can't sit up there in the Eiffel Tower, No, it doesn't work like that. So, this thing about Prime Minister's table's job description, it will just be tabled. Mark, I must tell you, I think majority of the members of parliament, they do work. But that's not what I'm concerned about. You talk to them as workers and what they must do. I'm more concerned about the vision that they have. For example, what role will technology play in terms of moving this country forward? I'm more concerned about our politicians have an understanding as to what should be the morals, the kind of morals that should guide this society, that which can make us great and be one of the greatest countries in the world. The same philosophy that the athletes and those who coach them and who make these athletes great. We need our political leaders who can do that and make us great. It's not how hard they work, but leaders who have a vision. And that is what is lacking. And that is why I must tell you, when I saw, and I'm going to come back to that later on, when I saw this suggestion about National Day of Mourning, I say if we don't have a National Day of Mourning, the National Day of Mourning should be a mourning for all of us that always sit down with our two hands, helpless as helpless can be. Cannot manage a little 2B2 country. And all we can do is talk about we mourn and talk about you must wear black. Absolute rubbish. Black is beautiful. We need to stop this idea. Well, if you don't use black for that, they don't call us black people then. And then you're going to wear black. You wear black for funerals. And then we're going to wear black for mourning. That's all. So when they say a black man, I mourn him, I mourn too. You know, we continue to do some things to talk about getting rid of the queen, you know, and the king and all them something there. But yet, we hold on to a number of practices that are outdated. And as I said before earlier in the program, that it should not be a day of mourning. If you had an accident and probably a number of persons died, 20, 30 persons died, then you can always have a day of mourning. But when you're the wicked, worthless boy them, a killer of people so, right? And all that 8-year-old, and all we have in this country about National Day of Mourning, the whole country should stand up and say, listen, government, this is where we have to go. We're tired of it now. We talk about National Day of Mourning? That's all I can do. Mourn? Those worthless boy laugh after the whole away. Watch them and mourn, idiot them. Yes, I'm very blunt. And I know I'll annoy some of you. But let me tell you something. You don't have good intentions. I'm not knocking it completely. You don't have good intentions. But we've been mourning all these years. Our brothers, our fathers, our girls, our boys have been killed. We have mourned for many years. It is time the people rise up and say, action must be taken. Stop the mourning. And when you pray, God must give you the will. Pray that God give us the will and intelligence to do what is right. Not to go to these prayer breakfasts 2 years because no one go eat nice food, I go shake hands with Prime Minister and so on. That is nice and it is good and we need to pray. But while we pray, some of you watch. And while some watch, some of you work to protect. Because if all of us shut our eyes and pray, then when the enemy come, who will be there to protect us? And don't tell me that God will protect us. Because that's why God give us 2 hands, brains, eyes, to help ourselves. He didn't make man so that man should turn around and depend on him. All right? So, I hope I make some sense. And I'd love to hear from my listeners because it's not about me. That's nothing, you know. You need to get involved. That's why I have radio programs like this. This is a people's program. So let me know what you think. Send me a WhatsApp message to 876-816-5261. So those who are mourn, if you really want me to respect those, spend that day, send some messages to me so I can read them and we can motivate more persons. And I must tell you, I'm pushing out for action. And I'm glad I see over about 60 persons signed up already. And we're going to pressure government to take certain action. And you know my position already. And that is, if you feel so big and bad and bold to take the life of another person, then you should lose the right to enjoy yours. And there's a gentleman I want to get on this program. Normally I wouldn't do it, you know. And it's not to glorify him. A gentleman, you probably know who I'm talking, just came out of prison after spending over 30 odd years. But I think in probably see the light and probably he can help us. So I'm thinking of giving him a call. Let him join us one day. And by the way, The same gentleman who are talking about, he's talking about how in a prison rough. Well, guess what? You have many persons on the streets who would have nowhere to sleep. So let me tell you something. Government have to find place to look after them, the people, first, before government spend one more cent and look after those who go in a prison. Since you know say prison life rough, no do nothing for go to prison. You can't care out your nasty life and then you go to prison because the condition here is bad. You're lucky. You're really lucky for children are easy. Eh? It will find those you kill in family who murder and gone a long time. And if he's listening to me, he probably will come on the show. But the truth is the truth. And I will continue to speak the truth. All who want to feel hurt, because I tell the truth against myself, and it all hurt me to what we do. All right, you're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. I'm your friend, Vernon Darby, and this is the People's Program, Spot On. Soon come back. Don't move.